Now, this is where it gets interesting and the data comes into play from the lactate threshold test that I just did. Good morning, friends. It is 5 a.m. Today we're gonna try to figure out just what the heck is going on with my lactate threshold and my heart rate zones. So I'm gonna go over to our local high school track, perform my sort of own lactate threshold test, which I'm not really looking forward to because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So basically what I'm gonna do is just warm up for 10 minutes getting over there and then run hard for 30 minutes, do a 10-minute lap and a 20-minute lap, and then run some calculations that I've seen on the internet to try to figure this thing out. And hopefully that will help me get my heart rate zones more accurate because they seem to be very inaccurate right now, if you've watched any of my past videos. Warm-up is just gonna be cruising over to the school. I'll just do like a light jog over to the school where the track is, and then I'm gonna do a couple laps around the track, and then we're gonna get straight into this run. Oh man, it's a little chilly. I don't know if this is like the ideal time of day to be doing this. School is fortunately right across the street from my house, and it's Saturday, so I'm gonna hit this thing. One thing I'm kind of noticing is it's the first time I've run in a while without any headphones, and it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to just hear your footsteps in the world around you. Maybe I'll do that more often. I don't know if I could do that on like an hour and a half, 2-hour run, but for shorter runs, it's kind of nice. Here we are, onto the track, just me and the crows. I also kind of love this like early morning ambience when you're the only one out. It just feels like you're doing something and nobody else is. Tough getting out of bed at 5. Do not like that. Let's be real, that freaking sucks. Like sometimes when I'm wondering if I should or I shouldn't get up, I just ask myself, what would the hero of my own movie do? And you know what? That mother effer would get up and do the thing, and do something that would make his kids and his family proud, himself proud, and accomplish his goals. And that usually helps me get up. So maybe corny, but try it. Okay, I just finished the 10-minute warm-up. We're gonna get after this thing, baby. Let's go. I'm not gonna record this part like I said, but I will catch up with you guys right after the run and we'll break it down, see how it went. I kind of feel like I'm gonna poop myself. Let's do this. Oh. All right, we're done. I'm not gonna lie, that was tough. I think that's a really good exercise for anybody to do though that's just getting into running. Just to like see where you're at. Tough thing is, you have no idea how fast to go. Like you might come out of the gates way too hot, which I think I might have started with, but eventually you just kind of settle into it and it does feel never ending, but you just got to get like in a zone and just like push through it. Just keep running, keep moving your legs, and you'll get it done. And it'll open up your eyes a lot. It makes me realize how insane it is for people that finish a sub 3 marathon. To hold a 6:50 pace for 26.2 miles is bananas. 30 minutes I ran 4.04 miles at a 7:26 pace. So I'm gonna go back to my desk and crunch some numbers anyhow for my heart rate in the first 10 minutes of the effort and my heart rate in the last 20 minutes of the effort. Let's go sort that out. Okay, so we're back, we're showered, we got some coffee. I've taken a look at the data. Let's break this down. Before running this lactate threshold test, my Garmin was telling me that I had a lactate threshold of 165 beats per minute. When you base your heart rate zones on your lactate threshold, each zone is based on a percentage range of that lactate threshold. And the lactate threshold is basically the pace that you should be able to hold for like 45 minutes to an hour. And that's because this is an intensity level at which lactate, which is a byproduct of energy production, starts to accumulate faster in your blood than it can be cleared. So, taking a look at the heart rate zones based on what my lactate threshold was before the test at 165 beats per minute, this would break down into these 5 zones here. So zone 1 would be 65 to 80%
of that lactate threshold, which in this case would be 107 beats per minute to 132 beats per minute. And then zone 2 would be 132 beats per minute to 147 beats per minute. Zone 3 would then be 147 beats per minute to 157 beats per minute. Zone 4 would be 157 beats per minute to 165 beats per minute. And then zone 5 would be anything higher than that 165 beats per minute lactate threshold. So if you watched any of my previous videos, you could see that I was very easily going into zone 3 and 4 when I felt like I was running at an easy pace, which is why I wanted to figure this all out. Now, this is where it gets interesting and the data comes into play from the lactate threshold test that I just did. Now, in order to calculate your lactate threshold on a test like I just did at the track, you run as hard as you can for 30 minutes, trying to withhold a consistent pace throughout that 30-minute workout. At the end of the workout, you look at what your average heart rate was for the last 20 minutes of that run. So I went into Garmin and looked at the heart rate chart that they give you after you run and grabbed my heart rate at each of the last 20 minutes. And these results here are what I was able to grab from that. Now what I had to do was take the average of all of these heart rates across those final 20 minutes, and then this will be my new lactate threshold. And so when I averaged this out, it equaled a new lactate threshold of 174 beats per minute, which is quite a bit different than the 165 that my watch was previously showing me. Now, we have this new lactate threshold. Now we need to calculate our new heart rate zones, which the Garmin will do for you automatically. But for the sake of this, so you can see, I'm gonna show you. So now we're looking at the new heart rate zones based on a lactate threshold that's equal to 174 beats per minute. So zone 1 is now 113 beats per minute to 139. Zone 2 is now 139 beats per minute to 155. Zone 3 is now 155 to 165. And zone 4 is now 165 to 174, which is the lactate threshold. And then zone 5 is anything greater than 174 beats per minute. Let's take a quick look comparing this to what my previous heart rate zones were. So looking at these side by side, or maybe it's even better to look at it like this, you can see why I was probably struggling so much to stay in zone 2. My new zone 2 goes all the way up to 155 beats per minute, when previously it was 147 beats per minute. So all those times where I was running in like the 152, 153, 154 range, even 155, my watch previously thought I was in zone 3, when I was really in zone 2. There were times when my watch thought I was in zone 4, when I was comfortably in a zone 3 heart rate zone. As I continue to run with this Garmin watch on, I am theorizing that my lactate threshold will continue to go up, and that my heart rate zones will become even more generous for the zone 2 runs that I am trying to do. So this helped me feel a lot better about my problem. I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for me to feel confident now knowing that I'm running in the proper zones, and to be able to feel like I truly am doing a zone 2 run and building that aerobic base. So I'm very happy that I did this. I'm very happy that I was able to come to this conclusion and stop kind of going crazy about this. If you watch any of my previous videos, you'll see that I was really confused and kind of just frustrated by not knowing if I was doing things correctly. This really helped clear it up. So I hope this was helpful for you if you're trying to figure out what your heart rate zones are. And I think that this overall is just a good thing to do if you're a runner and you want to make sure that you're working out efficiently and appropriately based on what your specific lactate threshold is. The watch is a really great help for this. I use the Garmin Forerunner 255. There's lots of other ways to track it, but it's a pretty simple exercise to do, pretty easy to figure out. And once you do, your training will be much better set up for success, and you'll have a better idea of what you should be doing each and every time you go out to run. So thanks for watching. I will see you in another video soon. And until then, go now and run. Take care.